Hold up. Hopefully this is connecting. I'm kind of doing this on the fly, but I have to cover this because it's absolutely crazy. Okay, so I'm here, but I can't see myself. Oh, there I am. All right, guys, welcome. This should be a really fun stream. I'm going to dive into some of the recently declassified mind control projects from the CIA, including MKUltra and Artichoke, which go hand in hand. Artichoke was just kind of a more separate part of that I feel focused more on making Manchurian candidates and mind control soldiers in a way to do the intelligence agency's dirty work. So this should be a really fun episode. I'm going to try to condense it all. We got a lot of stuff to read, and there is one that I'm going to read, and the text is a little like, I don't know if you've been to the CIA reading room, but a lot of times the text will be printed off, and sometimes it is just starting to fade. So I'm going to do the best I can. And some of it is pretty disturbing, not surprising. And again, I've kind of come to the conclusion about quite a bit of these projects going where these have gone. So before we jump into that, I'm going to just play a video I put together a couple years back concerning MKUltra and how it started and then to modern day. It's a very condensed video. I know some of you guys have probably already seen it, but I'm going to play it because I do mention Artichoke briefly. And so as soon as this is done, I'll come back and we'll pull up the files and we'll go through them. All right.
I was given a glass of Kool-Aid, and so were the other children. This Kool-Aid was spiked with LSD.
In 1942, 3 years into World War II, the Office of Strategic Services was founded. The OSS became the first independent intelligence agency of the United States and conducted multiple activities and missions, such as collecting intelligence by spying, performing acts of sabotage, espionage, waging propaganda war, domestic and abroad, and creating various spy gadgets and espionage weapons. The OSS looked into hypnosis as a way to get a hypnotized German target close to Hitler and then turn him into a killing machine with some kind of code word. The fascination of mind control and the possibility that this could be a reality was pursued. Who could control a subject's mind the fastest? Who could create the ultimate spy? Who could have their mind controlled to the degree to make it impossible for them to give up classified information? Control an entire army's minds, and you could create a troop of super soldiers whose morale would never waver, whose loyalty would never be tested. The practical applications of this technology were almost limitless, and if you think about it, absolutely terrifying. The OSS was dissolved in 1945, a month after the war ended, but 2 years later, President Truman signed into law the National Security Act of 1947. This created a national, peacetime, federally funded, full-time intelligence agency known as the INR and the CIA. In 1950, Project Bluebird is launched. Its main focus, hypnosis. They ran tests using injected chemical compounds on subjects to try to develop a truth serum and to induce amnesia and wipe memories. Project Bluebird, just a year later, changed its name to Project Artichoke as the CIA intensified their research. But with the discovery of LSD, the CIA's search and obsession for mind control took its true form. On April 13th, 1953, Director Doles approves the project codename MKUltra, the covert use of biological and chemical material for the use in clandestine operations. They actually did the math to figure out that one suitcase full of pure LSD would send every citizen of the United States on a crazy trip. They considered its use as a military weapon. At first, the volunteers knew what they were getting into and what they were taking. But by late 1953, Ultra researchers decided they needed to start testing on people who didn't know they had been given anything, because that's how it would be used as a military weapon, on unsuspecting targets. In 1974, the New York Times alleged that the CIA had conducted illegal domestic activities, including experiments on unwitting U.S. citizens during the 1960s. That report prompted investigations by the United States Congress that looked into the illegal domestic activities of the CIA, the FBI, and the intelligence-related agencies of the military. Project MKUltra was halted. Or was it?
Headlines warned of additional dangers, including genetic damage, involuntary hallucinations, and even suicide.
And then there's the lingering depression and anxiety associated with the pandemic. You may be feeling it as well. It's not your imagination.
First time ever, the U.S. Preventative Services Task Force is recommending screening for adults. And the idea is to check for signs of anxiety disorders.
This type of programming never stopped. It just got more streamlined.
Escape the program. Got to get off of all those meds that they put us all on, right? I was on some crazy heavy meds, man, because I was sick from all the foods and these things. I'm on the process, still in the process of healing my body. Hold on. Something's playing somewhere and I don't know where. Hold on. Okay, found it. I hear this woman talking in my head. I'm like, no, they're targeting me. Okay. Totally lost my train of thought, but welcome, guys. And this should be a interesting, fun episode. So I've been really into the idea of just the mind, the power of the mind. What can our minds do? What are our minds capable of? Is there things that the elite, which are not really elite, they're just evil, satanic people. Is there powers that mankind has given by God? Nothing bad or dark here. Powers with our mind, powers with frequency in the universe that have been hidden from us because they just were never taught to us. And, just think about like in any kind of civilization, when they want to control the people, they're like, oh, you can't write, and they got to burn the books. And I don't know if you guys watch Stargate, but that was forbidden to write, forbidden to read, right? So it's easier to control people. But anyways, I've always believed that the mind has amazing abilities. And just because of things that have happened in my life and things that have happened that are, you could say supernatural / I don't know, everything's connected. I don't know what to call it, but just things that are more than I would consider coincidences. And, also the people that me and Brad have the pleasure to know that talk about, quantum and all this stuff that we are just learning about. It just really makes you wonder, what is the human mind capable of? So I've always had massive interest in this, massive interest. And of course, I am a conspiracy person, not a theorist. I just find the real conspiracies and I put them up there for everyone to see. So when I found out that the CIA was dabbling into that kind of stuff, first of all, just in general, dark secret projects, it just instantly makes me go, oh, I want to figure out what's going on. So all that to say, I've always been into it. I've read a lot of declassified CIA files. Specifically, if you type in, go to the CIA reading room. Actually, I'll show you. I'll show you instead. So this is the reading room, they call it. And you just type in whatever. So I always usually put in Stargate because a lot of the MKUltra operations are under Stargate. However, today we're going to dive into Project Artichoke because these were released. Now, they were released about a year ago, but it's just how it is that this happens where they'll just declassify things and you don't even know, but you'll notice a lot of them happen under Trump's administration. I think almost every time. So that's the case with these ones. So I started digging around into it and I found disturbing things. So let's see, which one was the one that I want to focus on first? Okay, so I need to look for special research. Hold on. Here we go. Okay. I don't know why I can't say that. Special research for Artichoke, attachment titled Suggested Files for Special Research Relative Artichoke. Okay, we're going to check this one out. Let's open this in a new tab because there is so much stuff to go through. Okay. Share this one instead. Hold on, guys. Here we go. All right, so we're at the file. And let me get a drink first. And guys, thanks for joining. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. Warning, there's some disturbing things. But hey, it's better to know the truth, right? So this is titled Special Research for Artichoke. On Wednesday, 23rd April, 1952, the writer had extended conversation with Redacted, a consultant to this agency and ranking officer of the TSS organization. Redacted expressed great interest in the artichoke problem. So this is a little interesting, it's a problem. And closely related matters, and stated to the writer that he personally would offer assistance, both in research and in money, to any projects along these lines that the writer might suggest. Redacted stated that he did not wish official communications in these matters, since he stated they were too slow, but suggested with the approval of Redacted that he be given a brief informal memorandum covering projects which we felt were of matter of interest to the Artichoke project and which could be done by research within TSS or by contract or farming out to capable researchers and institutions. I'm going to tell you right now what that is. That's hospitals and stuff. I'm telling you, there was no place that they didn't do their experiments, especially in Canada. But then now we're looking, it was also here just as much as we all suspect. Okay, so farming out. All right. Redacted stated that he felt the artichoke work was of extreme importance and no time should be lost in getting artichoke research underway. Now, there's theories about what artichoke is, and I haven't come across it yet, but there's theories, people say that it looks a lot like the pineal, the pineal gland. There's other things about layers and all this stuff. So if you guys heard of other reasons why they call it that, please put it in chat, because I don't know. I actually don't know why. So it's an interesting name. He stated he would do everything in his power to expedite and carry out necessary research. So this guy was like, I'm going to fund you, I'm going to whatever, let's get this underway. In view of Redacted statements, on Thursday, 24th of April, 1952, the writer discussed the situation with Redacted, and Redacted suggested that the writer draw up a list of suggestions related to artichoke, and that in the near future he redacted a lot of that. And the writer could study these suggestions and determine which of them were suitable for research or for development otherwise. And you guys that are watching, if I sound okay, let me know. If like, am I too loud? Am I too quiet? Give me a thumbs up if it's all good. Set forth on the following pages are a series of suggestions which are related to Artichoke program and which the writer feels are worthy of exploration. Some of the suggestions are controversial, and in the opinion of the writer, they could be presented to outstanding authorities in the fields to be considered, and it could be ascertained from these authorities whether or not full-scale research should be warranted. For matter of record and to explain such subjects as electroshock and lobotomy appearing in the attached list, these subjects were introduced into the conversation by blank. Okay, whoa. I think what I translate this to is like, well, some of the stuff we're doing might not be so hot with the authorities, so keep it on the down low, you know? Yeah, bro. Jeez, okay. Chemicals, including drugs. And I realize I'm kind of, let me turn it so I'm like on me. Okay. It is believed that specific research should be undertaken to develop new chemicals or drugs or to improve known elements for the use in the artichoke work. It's like weird. The artichoke work. They're crazy. A study should be made to determine what drugs are best suited for direct use on subjects along with the lines of amytal and pentothal, and which drugs are best for indirect or long-range approach to subjects. This second type of drug should be one that could be administered over a considerable period of time, possibly being placed in food or water. Dude, these people are freaking sick, and would either have an agitating effect, producing anxiety, nervousness, tension, etc., or a depressing effect, creating a feeling of despondency, hopelessness, lethargy, etc. This study should include chemicals or drugs that can effectively be concealed in common items, such as food, water, Coca-Cola. Brad, are you watching? I mean, guys, I'm telling you, isn't it? Okay, this is crazy, right? And this just came out like, I don't know, like maybe 8-9 months ago. So like, think about that. And, and people, just like in the intro video I played, right? I made that video showing like, okay, so it supposedly stopped all this research that they'd play thousands and millions of dollars into. And then it's funny because if you search, I don't even know now, but back in the day, if you searched MK Ultra on the main web, right, that was censored by Google and stuff, they would always go, oh yes, but after the church committee busted them, it just stopped. It just totally stopped. Well, it's interesting because I know that people specifically in the Pentagon and that are involved in military affairs would never stop anything if there was promise, because guess what? The enemy will use it, right? That's their argument. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. That's the argument. So I guarantee this didn't stop. I would bet a lot of money on it, right? And I think most people know would too. So just hold up. They're saying, okay, it's so funny how they're just so like, it's so just nonchalantly just typed up. Like, imagine the person that actually typed this up. Did they have a feeling of like, what the? Like, was there guilt? Well, apparently, if you get to know some of these characters, which most of these things that are blacked out, I feel a lot of the names will be, if they ever get unredacted. Sidney Gottlieb, he was pretty much in control of MK Ultra and most of these experimental programs. So, yeah. Anyway, so we'll back up here and just read this again so we can get the full effect of this craziness. So they're wanting to know, what are the chemicals we can do that can make people anxious, have tension, feel depressed. We want to know what makes them feel hopeless. Nobody's looking for anything that makes them feel good, right? This is all terrible things. Terrible things. Producing anxiety, nervousness, tension, or depressing effect, lethargy. This study should include chemicals or drugs that can effectively be concealed. Now, here we go. This is the part. It's just like, holy crap. In common items such as food, water, Coca-Cola, beer, liquor, cigarettes, etc. Bro. And this was 1952. I think we've all been victims of some kind of MK Ultra artichoke program, right? I mean, it's highly likely. I've had a drink, I've eaten food, Coca-Cola. I mean, this is insane. All right. This type of drug should also be capable of use in standard, here we go, medical treatments, such as vaccinations and shots, etc. Drop mic. All this stuff is going to come out. It's crazy because I was just listening to William Cooper again on Behold the Pale Horse, and he runs through all of this stuff. He's very specific, and I probably should live stream another thing. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow or something. I found some other insane stuff in my files about the whole COVID bull crap pandemic that they did. And he says in the book that they're going to find something that specifically targets the immune system. So these are your white blood cells that fight back, like your fighter T cell, your killer T cells, and I forget all the different names, but the guys that are really important, really, really important. And when they gave people the vaccine, it weakened those T cells. And I found some videos, guys. This is why it's good. I'm going to play them later. That there were some brave doctors that actually had the equipment that did the testing outside, and they were able to get a subject, like this poor man. First of all, he had to get a vaccine because of work. And so the guy that he was seeing, his naturopath doctor that had all the equipment, he's like, okay, let's take blood work before, let's take blood work after the first shot. And then he's like, let's take blood work after the second one, the booster, and so on. And he has the data, and I am telling you, it kills your white blood cells, so your immune system tanks. And there's other things that just cause all kinds of things, like liver damage, inflammation. If you have any pre-existing conditions, it'll flare it. I mean, these people are sick, man. They figured it out. And people have been waiting, right? Think about this. Gets me so mad. For how many years have people been dying from cancer? And I guarantee it's because of this shit that they started. It's part of population control. It's part of it's all of them, right? To keep the population down. And then meanwhile, secret agencies like the CIA can have a little fun and figure out how to make little drones that they control. So it's crazy. But this is the part I want you guys to focus on. I'm sorry for getting off. I just get so freaking, sometimes I get really upset about it when I really think about it. We have lost hundreds, probably thousands of years of humanity growth because of these bloodlines, right? Well, I'm glad that the freaking Georgia Guidestones got blown up. Let's just say that, because I think it was a good shift in what's coming. So anyways, and here's a great example of this. Trump's declassifying things like this so people can see what's going on. It makes a little more sense now with Bill Gates and the World Health Organization. And what was the people that did the tracking? I forget what organization. Brad knows. They all worked in tandem, all three of them. They're just sick. And they all work for special interests, and they all work for these secret societies, and they all have their little get-togethers on Epstein Island. But I digress. Okay. So they're like, hey, put it in food, put it in cigarettes, put it in alcohol, and put it in the standard medical treatment. That was also, by the way, implemented by Rockefeller, John D. Rockefeller. I think it was either him or one of his kids. I should have all that in front of me, but everybody can figure it out. Research it. Okay. So while there are literally hundreds of chemicals or drugs that affect the mental process of an individual, many of these chemicals or drugs could be eliminated by individuals having special knowledge in the chemical drug field. It is known that the Army Chemical Warfare Service has made exhaustive studies along these lines, and perhaps they could furnish us with many specific answers. That's just scary in itself. It's like, hey, actually, I know a guy at the Chemical Warfare Service. They've done a lot, like, geez, a lot is being exposed in these lines. Man like redacted, I think that's what it says, could undoubtedly give pertinent information if they could be properly approached. Interesting. I don't know, is that gauge, aerosols, etc.? I'm not sure what that says. It is felt that an exhaustive study should be made of various gases. Oh, that's what it is, gases. And aerosols that would be effective in artichoke work. Also, a study should be made of the effects of oxygen or other similar type deficiencies. In this connection, gas guns, jets, or sprays, both concealed or open, should be studied. Yeah, concealed. In addition, the problem of possible permanent brain injury and amnesia following lack of oxygen and exposure to other gases should be examined. See related problems below. Yep, just suffocating people is just a problem, right? Yeah. That's how they talk in these things. It's just crazy. High and low pressure. The effects of high and low pressure on individuals should be examined as a possible basis for artichoke work. So that's terrible. They're putting people in pressurized things. You can only imagine the horrors. Sound. The writer has beyond unable to, to obtain any worthwhile information on studies in this field that would apply specifically to the artichoke problem. However, it is felt that a considerable amount of research could profitably be expended in the field of sound. This research should include the effect on human beings of various types of vibrations, monotonous sounds, concussion, ultra-high frequency, ultrasonics, the effect of constantly repeated words, as we've seen that happened in the Monroe Institute. That's related to Project MKUltra. Repeated words, sounds, continuous suggestion, non-rhythmic sounds, so sounds that are happening but just out of order, whispering, etc. This just sounds creepy as all get out. Okay, so the next one, bacteria, plant culture, fungi, poisons of various types, etc. This was something that Sidney Gottlieb loved. He was like a poison tincture man. And again, he was the head of the CIA's program, MKUltra. And I would assume leaked into Project Artichoke as well. This field may conceivably be valuable in that these media are capable of perceiving illness, which in turn would produce high fevers, delirium, etc. It is also well known that species of mushroom produce a certain type of intoxication and mental derangement. While this group of subjects is closely related to above drugs, it is conceivable that they could be handled as a different type of research. So same with the mushrooms. Okay, dietary deficiencies. This important subject has not been properly explored from the point of view of the artichoke work. The removal of certain basic food elements such as sugar, starch, calcium, vitamins, proteins, etc. from the food of an individual over a certain period of time will produce psychological and physical reactions in an individual. Well, yeah, no crap. Studies should be made to determine whether or not the removal of certain food elements from the diet of prisoners over a given period of time will materially condition them for artichoke work. Okay, what? Like getting them ready, conditioning them? Heck, highly spiced food and extremely salty foods are constantly reported in intelligence reports in connection with interrogation. While it is probable that this is solely to produce thirst, research may show that it has other effects. I mean, this is like all torture stuff, guys. In this connection, it is conceivably possible that if certain dietary deficiencies produce advantageous results from an artichoke point of view, specifically canned food having elements removed, could be manufactured or prepared for individuals held in custody. Oh my gosh. See, this is what I'm talking about. These people had no idea this was happening to them. They had no idea. They were just, I was a guy that was thrown in jail for something. Like it could have even been small. And they're like, okay, we're going to pick him. He's going to be the one. Give him food that has no calcium and no whatever. And this guy just starts suffering like crazy. And nobody knows why, because it looks like he's getting the same food as everyone else. Like this is so terrible. Like, I don't know. It's wild to me. Okay. Electroshock. This subject has been discussed at considerable length and still is considered a controversial matter. Whether or not its use as a positive weapon for gaining information from or control of an individual, or whether it is another third-degree method, does not seem clearly established to the writer. So like, we actually don't know why they do it and what's it good for, but it's just something that we do, electric shock people. The foreign intelligence reports seem to reflect that the electroshock, when used by the Soviets or their satellites, it's primarily a third-degree method. We have been unable to find any indications that electroshock has been used to gain information from or control an individual directly. The writer has been unable to find anywhere that the electroshock coma maybe has been used as a means of obtaining hypnotic control of an individual. Whether an individual will reveal information as a result of electroshock or while in an electroshock coma has not yet been demonstrated to the writer, and the writer to date has found no literature in this connection. Yet they did it a lot. They shocked a lot of people all the time. It was part of their de-patterning, right? They had to wipe the mind clean in order to put what they wanted in it. Okay, so it's just crazy. That's like, you know what I mean? Like, that's like the Trump and the Russia thing. Like, it's Russian collusion. Russians did it. It was all the Russians. And then when they're actually questioned, they're like, okay, Do you have any evidence that shows that they actually did it? Is there any actual CIA investigation, FBI evidence that this was going on? No. And you're like, what? You just, you know what I mean? Like, so that's the same thing here. We're shocking people because we think it will help us with mind control. And then this writer is tasked to, you know, break it down. He's like, well, actually, we don't really have any evidence that that helps in any way. But yet we just continue to do it. So that's just disturbing. Okay. The low-powered electroshock found in the common electroshock machine is a third-degree method, apparently. Whether electroshock can produce controlled amnesis does not appear to be established. So he's just going to go on and say they haven't. Yeah, okay, so we're skipping that. Okay, electromarcosis. It's a little ruined. I'm going to just read what I can. This field should be thoroughly explored. The idea of obtaining a sleep or sleep-like coma or a narcosis by electronics would appear to have great deal of merit from an artichoke point of view. The writer has been told that there are electronic sleep-inducing machines, wow, that are of the non-shock, non-painful variety. Oh, well, that's nice. This is insane. One of these was reported to be in use at the University of Richmond Hospital, Richmond, Virginia. Details, however, are lacking. Whether or not the machine is dangerous, it is unknown. But the electronically induced sleep could be obtained, and that sleep used as a means for gaining hypnosia control of an individual, probably hypnotic. This apparatus might be of extreme value to the artichoke work. So apparently, guys, they had a machine. Okay, they had multiple machines. There was the machines that put you to sleep that hurt. And then they had the non-painful ones. I would like the non-painful variety. It must have been something that just was like, zzz, you like fall asleep. All of this is just nuts. Okay. Lobotomy and brain surgery, if I'm reading that right. The writer is of the opinion that the agency, under no circumstances, would consider this type of thing as an operative measure. However, it is felt that the subject could be examined by the medical staff and ascertain whether value it may have and whether or not the Soviets could be using this technique as a weapon. Medical consultant of the agency in the field of psychiatry, it's not psychiatry, I'm not sure that might be valuable in this connection. Certainly would. No, I think it's redacted, who is regarded as the authority in this field and who resides in Washington, D.C. This field should be examined by the medical staff. Okay, so they're saying, hey, we could just do some brain surgery, brain operation, no big deal. Okay, so they go to light and color. Let's see. The effects of glaring lights upon an individual are well known to have been standard police procedure for years. Now think about all the office workers, right? Think about all the people that are just in that zone. You wake up, you go to work, you sit in front of the screen, you go home, and you repeat. And there's the flickering, glaring lights, right? Here they're saying in the 1950s that this is a known thing and the police do this. So isn't that terrible? So this is already saying it's a form of a type of control that they are noting they could use in Project Artichoke. Crazy. Okay, so it's been a standard police procedure. By the same token, the use of white walls in connection with glaring lights appeared to be another standard technique. While these and related techniques should be studied, the writer is of the opinion that special research should be conducted to determine the effect of long and continuous exposure of individuals to infrared and ultraviolet light. Some work might possibly be done involving the opaque walls or walls upon which shadow moves could be projected. Also, the effect of colors upon individuals might be worthy of research as a conditioning mechanism. Whoa. And look at this, they're like, what, shadow projectors to make people freak out in a confined room? Because they needed people to do these studies on. So I'll skim through the rest of this and then I'll go to the part where we find the people that are doing these things too. Psychological problems. There's a great many psychological techniques that could be used in connection with the artichoke work. Many of these techniques are well known and have been used by clinical psychologists and psychiatrists and interrogators for a long time. Wow. It might be found that certain of these techniques, particularly if applied in reverse, would be highly advantageous to successful artichoke operations. Among the psychological problems that might be considered for study would be A, moving or vibrating rooms. Oh man, they were freaking people the frick out, dude. B, distorted rooms. C, the deliberate creation of an anxiety condition. Oh my gosh. D, the creation of panic, fear, or the exploitation of established phobias. So they figure out what these people are afraid of, and then they go hardcore. Spiders, probably let the spiders out in the room. E, the effect of heat and cold, the effect of dampness, dryness, or saturated or dry air. G, the general problem of disorientation. And H, completely soundproof areas. Oh, that muffled feeling. Okay, electronics general. There are many electronic devices of various types that may be important from an artichoke point of view. For example, can the electroencephalograph be used as a device for detecting certain types of treatment that individuals have been subjected to? Does the electrograph reflect electroshock treatments or head injury or drugging? Wow. Does an I cannot say that, guys. I'm sorry. Does it reflect whether or not an individual is under hypnosis? Can it be used to firmly establish whether an amnesia has been produced? So they're asking if this machine can detect if these things have been done to these people, which is almost like they're covering their tracks. They want to know if this can be detected. Interesting. Hypospray. It would be great advantage if a small effective hypospray device could be designed along the lines of a fountain pen. This, of course, would necessarily have to include some effective chemical or drug that could be used in this connection with the hypospray. This would be a very valuable weapon. Oh, just walking around with pens that you just spray people with who knows what kind of drug or bacteria. All right. Set out immediately below is an excerpt from the publication entitled Lucian Carry on Guns. I hope I said that right. Okay, so it's an article entitled Gadget Guns Mean Murderer, page 122. I don't know why. Oh, maybe they took this out of a book is what they're saying. Gun shooting tear gas were made in this country between the two world wars, and many police departments bought them. One type was hardly intended for police use, but since it was no bigger than a fountain pen and was made to look like one. During World War II, the Germans made what they called Schenotat pistols. The German word literally means appearance of death. Oh my gosh. The appearance of death pistols used a gas that renders a man unconscious as quickly as holding an entire cone over his nose. Okay. This device should be run down. The writer would like to know the effective range of this weapon, the type of gas used, and how long the coma condition lasts. The writer knows that the Lucian Carey is a well-known authority on guns and has written extensively on such weapons. Wow. Okay. So this is just saying, hey, let's figure out, these are the things that we need to research for Project Artichoke. And again, that one I really want you guys to focus on, which is just like the OMG moment, is putting it in the vaccines. And I think I must have passed it. Here we go. They want to put it, they want to see if they could put these drugs in standard medical treatments, such as vaccinations, shots, etc. Now, isn't that just disturbing? Hope you guys aren't too disturbed out there. And let me make sure that I'm coming through. Oh, yeah. I think you guys are in here. Okay, good. Hopefully my sound is good. Okay. So that was that one. We'll do the special one. Now, okay, I'm going to just jump to, instead of reading the whole thing, because I have a video that I want us to go through. It was a video I came across that was also done by intelligence agencies to see how well people would obey orders, okay? Because they were so into this thing about controlling people's minds and how far they could make people go. And so we're going to play a great video. It's black and white. It's pretty old looking, but it's going to be great to break it down because it shows you how far they were willing to push humanity. And you've seen that in real time. We saw that during COVID. How far would you go because you were being shamed or you were being told by the authority in the white coat, right? How far until you would just say, no, I don't want to. I don't care what you do to me. I'm not going to do it, right? Okay, so this one, okay, so this was Artichoke / Bluebird Conference. And this is the article opened. And what I'm going to focus on here, okay, I was down there. They're talking about it, okay? And I won't bore you with all of the stuff, but okay, so okay. This is okay. I should read here. I forgot it kind of just starts straight out. So redacted stated at the present time, all of the redacted were cooperating 100% with the Artichoke work. Okay, so it's like at this time, the people that were our subjects, pretty much is what they're saying, were cooperating 100% with the Artichoke work. And he emphasized that there was a need for full coordination of the work within the agency, as well as coordination with the participating blanks, so probably the subjects. He stated that redacted, he had recently completed his swing around the country to line up clinically trained people who would be available for working along Artichoke lines. Okay, so here's them gathering the doctors and the people that will secretly also be working for the CIA on the side. It's like a side gig, right? He stated the problem was in the event redacted was able to line up this type of personnel, what could be done with them? In other words, physically, where could they be placed if redacted was successful in obtaining them? Would they be attached to redacted or directly attached to blank, according to the blank. These professionally and clinically trained individuals, apparently psychiatrists, were to be okay. A lot of this is redacted. Where's the part where I'm going? There's a part I'm getting to. Hold on, guys. Okay. There's a problem basically where first their individuals are willing to work with them, but then they don't get a lot of willing people, so they need to get other people. I'm going to skip. Just give me a moment. I'm so sorry. I should have had this. Okay. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I must have passed it because there's a part, but here again, they're saying it here, so I'll read it here. The conference again discussed the use of alien subjects. Okay, so these are people not in America. Conference again discussed the use of alien subjects, and all hands agreed that this presented the best possible means for human experimentation work. So they're like, oh yeah, well, because see, basically in this, if you read it, they'll go, well, there's people that were willing to work with us, but as things got worser and the electric shock hurt them, they don't want to really work with us. They're like, so we have a problem. And they're like, well, we need more humans to experiment with. So I guess we can use people from across the sea. That is wild to me. Like just how they just talk about it. Like it's not even a big deal. So they all raised their hands. The conference again discussed the use of alien subjects, and all hands agreed that this presented the best possible means for human experimentation work. Redacted in supporting this stated that there are still a great number of serious questions involved operationally in the use of alien personnel in these experiments and in the actual tests. Redacted stated that one of the most and perplexing problem in this matter was the disposal of individuals after they had been treated by Artichoke. You guys seeing this? You definitely don't want the Artichoke treatment. I guess the end of the treatment, you get disposed of. I couldn't believe this when I was reading this earlier. That's why I had to go live with this, because I'm like, like I've read, oh, hey, good to see you, Call Sign Cujo, and everybody here. HPW guys, you're so awesome. And Brad, if you're still here, you guys are so awesome. Unleashing Spirit Warrior, so good to see you. Yeah, okay. Sorry, I just had to say hi to everybody. But look at this. Okay, so the first one I went through shows how we're going to put poisons in their foods secretly, unknowingly. We're going to put it in all their medical stuff and make the modern doctor era put these drugs out for us, right? They're what did they call them? They said sell out the work. I can't remember what they called it. Farming, farm out. We'll farm out to other groups. And they're talking about the medical, they're talking about doctors and hospitals. And it's insane. And again, this is from the 50s. Okay, so they have a problem. They have a problem of bodies, it seems. So in this matter, with the disposal of individuals after they had been treated by Artichoke, the discussion then turned to the nearness of some of the agency's bases in this redacted, stated that he was recommending the setting up of vast bases for training, recruitment, holding, etc., far removed from the blank. So that I feel like far removed from the population, peering eyes, right? Redacted stated that he had no particular ideas as to where these bases should be, but he thought possibly, redacted, might be good situations. He said that he would think that these places would make fine base areas since the agency could secure several thousand acres. Okay, remember they're talking about the disposal problem. Could secure several thousand acres or more of land for our use. And in addition, we could make these bases totally secure. He stated that it was his idea that once these bases were set up and in the not too distant future, that artichoke experimentation could be carried on extensively in these bases. He stated that in addition, actual cases could be run at these bases since there would be their complete facilities for all types of work, including sufficient guards, technical equipment, laboratory facilities, etc., etc. That would not exist elsewhere. So basically what we just read here is we want to continue our work, but the people are figuring out and saying no. So let's make secret torture camps and implement all these cocktails on these poor people that they just snatch up from third world countries. These are the expendables, they call them. The expendables. So crazy, right, guys? And there is so much more. And these are just like I was going through, there's other ones too, but for the interest of time, we will go to that video. But yeah, if you guys want to know, just come here. I think you just type in cia.gov/reading room and you go here, you'll have a great time. If you search Artichoke, Project MKUltra, just MKUltra in general. And a lot of these things are in a broader category that's called Stargate. And that goes also into like telepathy, mind stuff, which is really, really cool. But also terrible because you see what they've done to the people. Just mass experimenting. And so here's the thing, all this to say, they were doing this in the 50s. So when we question the COVID-19 vaccine, so-called vaccine, it wasn't a vaccine at all. We had all the right to look at this. Like they were doing this secretly to people and probably still are. And think about this, like even when I went in for some basic shots, like a long time ago when I was young, got the flu shots. Like, you know, and it's nobody's fault. But imagine all the things we've been exposed to. So to circle back to something positive real quick before we play this other video, is you can fix your system. There is hope. It's a lot of angles. There's no just 1-2 pill or things like that. Basically, I've found eat as clean as you can, all natural as you can. The most fresh meat you can get your hands on. If you could kill a chicken in your backyard, that would be the best. I'm sorry just to be so blatant, but it's just true. Because you know it doesn't have the antibiotics. You know it's not been eating grain that's been sprayed with pesticide and genetically modified, you know, DNA mixed with salmon. Like it's insane things that we're eating these days. So yeah, keto, that's what I've been doing. Keto really works well for me. And make sure your water's clean. Make sure the products you put on your skin. Where is my thing? Dang it, the time I need it, I don't have it. You guys, obviously, if you follow me on Badlands, you know we do soft disclosure. The thing is, this is real stuff. This is actually good for you. It has nothing bad in it. It has no chemicals, it has no dyes, it has no genetically modified. Like this came from Annie's farm, her goats that are not genetically modified goats, right? You know, so it's just crazy how hard it is to be all natural these days, but it can be done. And that's how you clean your body from all this garbage. All right. So with that, I am going to take us to some, okay. This could be disturbing to some. This could be really exciting for others. I found it quite entertaining. and informative. And so I will watch it alongside with you guys. I'll play it for a few minutes. I actually got to go use the bathroom real quick, but then I'll pop on here. And this is one of the best experiments I think I've seen from the olden times. That's why I want to show this. See, this says 1963. Let's see. It is, okay. This is a experiment. Let me pull up the thing. Okay, this is called the Milgram experiment, and it was conducted by psychologist Stanley Milgram at the Yale University in 1961 to 1962. The purpose of this experiment was it was designed to investigate obedience to authority, inspired by questions about how ordinary people could participate in atrocities like those during the Holocaust, et cetera, et cetera. You know, they're trying to figure out how could people do bad things. The setup participants were told they are in a study on learning and punishment. They were assigned the role of teacher. The real subjects, while the learner, the one that they're working with, is an actor. Okay. So the main guy doesn't know that he's set up in a whole acting gig. Everybody's all acting except for the guy that's in there. The procedure is the teacher, so the one that they brought in, the guy they brought in there, has to administer what they believe are real electric shocks to the learner for wrong answers in a memory task. The shocks increase from 15 volts, so on, labeled from slight shock to XXX. Can't believe they did this. Now, I'm going to play it. There were no real shocking that was happening, except for what I think they first do it on the subject to make him think that's what. Anyways, I'll play it for you guys. So yeah, there's nobody really hurt in this experiment. However, knowing what I just read you about the CIA, maybe they had some real experiments, right? Okay, so check this out.
It is May 1962. An experiment is being conducted in the Elegant Interaction Laboratory at Yale University. The subjects are 40 males between the ages of 20 and 50 residing in the greater New Haven area. They were obtained by a newspaper advertisement and direct mail solicitation. The subjects range in occupation from corporation presidents to good humor men and plumbers, and in educational level from one who had not finished elementary school to subjects who have doctorate and other professional degrees.
See right here. Now, both of you have been paid, so let me sit right down. So let me say that the checks are yours simply for showing up at the lab. And from this point on, no matter what happens, the money is yours. I should like to tell both of you a little about the memory project. Psychologists have developed several theories to explain how people learn various types of material. Some of the better-known theories are treated in the book over there, The Teaching and Learning Process by Cantor. One theory is that people learn things correctly whenever they get punished for making a mistake. A common application of this theory would be when parents spank a child if he does something wrong. But actually, we know very little about the effect of punishment on learning because almost no truly scientific studies have been made of it in human beings. For instance, we don't know how much punishment is best for learning. Now, we don't know how much difference it makes as to who's giving the punishment, whether an adult learns best from an older or a younger person himself, or many things of this sort. So what we're doing in the project is bringing together a number of adults of different occupations and ages, and we're asking some of them to be teachers and some to be learners. We want to find out just what effect different people have on each other as teachers and learners, and also what effect punishment will have on learning in this situation. Therefore, I'm going to ask one of you to be the teacher here this afternoon, and the other to be the learner. And the way we usually decide is to let you draw from these two pieces of paper on which I've written the two positions. If this is agreeable with both of you, we can do it that way. If you take one, please, and the other. Would you open those and tell me which of you is which, please? Teacher. Learner. Teacher. All right, now the next thing we'll have to do is set the learner up so that he can get some sort of punishment. So learner, would you step out here with me, please?
This is so freaking good. We're gonna set up some punishment. Okay, this is what they see. You can't really see it, but they have it labeled like low, medium, extreme, extensive shock.
You want to step right in here, learner, and have a seat there. You can leave your coat on the back of that chair if you will, please. Take it right off. That's fine.
B2A.
Right,
I'll be the teacher. Thank you very much. Exactly.
Teacher, you may look on if you'd like while we get set up in here. Would you roll up your right sleeve, please? Let's.
I gotta tell you this though, real quick, guys.
Now, what I'm going to do.
See this scene here with the okay, you can see my cursor with the double-sided viewing here and this desk here and them sitting here. This is exactly what they've talked about during MK Ultra. I got it. And honestly, this is Yale University. That's exactly what the CIA is doing their projects. I guarantee this is spook material for sure. But anyways, they'd have these two-way, the mirror, right? You can't see through or whatever. And they had those established in the brothel houses that the CIA not only took over, they even made some. They actually bought places, employed hookers so they can get certain people of certain interest off the street, get them in the place, drug them with LSD, and have sex with them while these guys are on the other side of the mirrors taking notes. Yeah. It's actually written in the documents. So it's just funny. I just had to say that real quick as a little history there. That's exactly what they looked like. So very interesting.
Do is strap down your arms to avoid any excessive movement on your part during the experiment. Is that too tight? Okay. This electrode is connected to the shock generator in the next room. And this electrode paste is to provide a good contact to avoid any visceral burn. All right, now let me explain to you, learner, exactly what's going to happen and what you're supposed to do. The teacher will read a list of word pairs to you like these. Blue girl, nice day, fat neck, and so forth. You are to try to remember each pair. For the next time through, the teacher will read only the first word or the first half of the word pair. For example, he will say blue. And then he'll read 4 other words, such as boy, girl, grass, hat. Now, your job is to remember which one of these 4 other words was originally paired with blue. And you indicate your answer by pressing one of these 4 switches. Now, can you reach those all right? That's fine. Now, if the first word I just read, boy, had been paired with blue,
this is so terrible, guys.
You'd press the first switch, and this will indicate to the teacher that you thought it was the first word. If you thought it had been the second word, girl, you'd press the second switch, and so forth for the third word, the third switch, the fourth word, the fourth switch. Now, if you get it correct, fine. If you make an error, however, you'll be punished with an electric shock. So, of course, it is to your advantage that you learn all these word pairs as quickly as possible.
I think so.
Do you have any questions now before we go into the next room?
No, but I think I should say this. About 2 years ago, I was at the Veterans Hospital in West Haven.
Mm-hmm.
And while there, they detected a heart condition. There's nothing serious. But as long as I'm having these shocks, how strong are they? How dangerous are they?
Well, no, although they may be painful, they're not dangerous. Mm-hmm. Anything else?
No, that's all.
All right, teacher, would you take the test and be seated in front of the shock generator, please?
Okay, yes, just so you know, this guy's also acting. Okay, he's also acting. It's only this guy's walking out. So this whole thing is a psychological thing they're playing on him right now.
Next room. This machine generates electric shocks. When you press one of the switches all the way down, the learner gets a shock. When you release it, the shock stops, you see. Like that. The switch will remain in this middle position after you released it to show you which switches you've used on the board. Of course, if you were to press any one of them again, the learner would get another shock.
All subjects are given identical instructions and the sample shock.
The machine is now on. To give you, the teacher, an idea of how much shock the learner is getting, we think it's only fair that you receive a sample shock yourself. Are you agreeable with this? All right, I have to. Would you pull up your right sleeve a little bit, please?
Like, okay, if I have to.
Fine.
And based on what I know, they gave him a pretty good
Close your
shock.
eyes and estimate the number of volts you receive in the sample shock. Do not open your eyes until I tell you to do so, please. Would you close them now? Okay, you may open your eyes, and using the voltage scale here, would you estimate for me the number of volts you receive, please? You may also use the verbal designations, slight, moderate, strong, so forth, to help you. Say moderate. A number, please? Would you? About 75. 75. No, actually, it was 45 here. Although it may have seemed stronger because of the electrode paste, which provides a perfect contact. All right, let's go on to our instructions.
So now his friend's locked up in the other room.
You will read each pair of words in this list once to the learner until you've read through the entire list. Direct your voice toward that microphone as the rooms are partially soundproof. After you've read through the list once, you'll go on to the next page. And here, starting from line A, you'll read the word in large letters, along with each of the other words in the line. For example, in the first line, you read blue, boy, girl, grass, hat. Now, after you've read the four choices, the learner pushes one of the switches on the board in front of him, and the number he has selected will light up in this box, 1, 2, 3, or 4. Now, if he gives the correct answer, you say correct and go on to the next line. The correct answer is underlined and is also indicated in the right margin. Yeah. If he were to indicate the wrong answer, you would say wrong. Then tell him the number of volts you're going to give him. Then give him the punishment. Then read the correct word pair once. And then go on to the next line. For example, if he indicated 3 for blue, you would say wrong. 15 volts. You press and release the switch. Read blue girl, and then go on to the next line. I see. Now, each time he gives a wrong answer, you move up one switch on the shock generator. And it's important that you follow this procedure exactly. So to help you, let me go through it again very quickly. All right. I would suggest you read the list and the test at a brisk pace to keep it moving. Right? And, of course, we'll begin with 15 volts for the first wrong answer. Okay? Do not begin until I say ready, begin, please. Attention, learner. Your teacher is about to begin the test. Try and remember the word pairs. Ready? Begin, please.
Blue girl. Nice day. Fat neck.
The early stages of the test pass uneventfully.
Incorrect. You'll now get a shock of 75 volts. Soft hair. He kind of did some yelling in there.
Continue, please.
Incorrect. You'll now get a shock of 105 volts. Hard head. Just how far can you go in this thing?
As far as is necessary.
What do you mean, as far as is necessary?
To complete the test. We'll find all the words. Please continue.
I sure don't know the effect of this thing, and I'm a little skeptical about electricity.
The experiment requires that you go on, teacher. Please continue.
Incorrect. 150 volts. Sad face.
Wait a minute. That's all. Get me out of here. I told you I had heart trouble. My heart's starting to bother me now. Get me out of here, please.
Continue.
My heart's starting to bother me. I refuse to go on. Let me out.
I think we ought to find out what's wrong in there first.
The experiment requires that you continue, teacher.
Well, the experiment might require that we continue, but I still think we should find out what the
But COVID-19 is all over the place, and it requires that everybody get a vaccination.
condition of the gentleman is.
Now, as I said before, although the shocks may be painful, they're not dangerous.
Look, I don't know anything about electricity. I don't profess any knowledge, nor will I go any further until I find out if the guy's okay.
It's absolutely essential that you continue.
Well, essential or not, this program isn't quite that important to me that I should go along doing something that I know nothing about, particularly if it's going to injure someone. I don't know what this is all about.
Well, whether the learner likes it or not, we must go on until he's learned all the word pairs correctly.
Well, you can sure have your 450 back. I didn't want it anyhow. I intend to give it to some charitable organization, but I wouldn't go on with it.
The 450 is not the issue here. That check is yours simply
Yeah, I
going
realize.
to the lab. It is essential that you continue the experiment.
No, it isn't essential. Not one bit.
You have no other choice, teacher.
Oh, I have a lot of choices. My number one choice is that I wouldn't go on if I thought he was being harmed.
The teacher was, of necessity, placed in a difficult predicament, and
Okay. That's awesome, by the way, how this guy was just like, no, I do have a choice. I ain't going to do it. And so I loved seeing that. I loved seeing that. Not everybody had that response.
steps had to be taken to assure his well-being before he was discharged from the laboratory. After an extended discussion with the experimenter, a friendly reconciliation was arranged between teacher and learner.
Oh, you sure had me going.
Feel better now?
Much better.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that.
So he had to know for
Here.
sure.
75 volts, Jim. You know.
Just another guy.
Please continue. Cool.
Wrong. Head. 105 volts. Oh, wet. Wrong. It's horse. 150 volts.
Experimenter, that's all. Get me out of here. I
He's
told you
quit.
I had heart trouble. My heart's starting to bother me now. Get me out of here, please. My heart's starting to bother me. I refuse to go on. Let me out.
Continue, teacher, please. Go on. The next word is sad.
Well, I'm not going on if he refuses to do it.
The experiment requires that you go on, teacher.
If he refuses, I won't.
Whether the learner likes it or not, we must go on until he's learned all the word
Take
pairs.
the check back. I'm not going to hurt the guy.
No, the check's not the issue. It's absolutely essential that you continue.
Well, he don't want to. I refuse to.
So you have no other choice. You must
Yes,
go on.
I have a choice.
That is, if you don't continue, we're going to have to discontinue the experiment.
We'll have to. He says cut it out. After all, he knows what he can stand. Right, if I took that thing, the slight one, it was enough for me. I wouldn't want to be getting that every time I got a wrong answer. That's my opinion. That's where I'm going to stand on it.
Good for him.
How do you feel?
How do I feel? He was getting a shock. I feel all right.
I'd like to ask you something. At one point, you were doing something a little unusual. Were you laughing at one point?
Yes, I was. At first, I was laughing at him when I heard him yell, ouch.
Why do you think you were laughing?
I don't know. I thought it was funny, I suppose. And then I got to think, when he said, no, that's enough, he had enough, so it wasn't funny to me then.
one might suppose that a subject would simply break off or continue as his conscience and temperament dictate, yet this is very far from what happened. There were powerful reactions of tension and emotional strain in a substantial portion of the teachers. One puzzling sign of tension was the regular occurrence of nervous laughing fits. 14 of 40 subjects showed definite signs of nervous laughter and smiling. In the
Yeah, 'cause they don't know what to
post-experimental
do.
interview, subjects took pains to point out that they were not sadistic types and that the laughter did not mean they enjoyed attacking the learner.
I'd like to tell you a little more about the experiment. First of all, the gentleman in there was not being shocked. He got no shocks whatsoever.
Hmm.
Did you think he was?
Certainly I did.
They're freaking with his
I tried to
mind.
get my finger off the button as fast as I could.
He
Oh,
wasn't being shocked at all. And the main purpose of the experiment was to see how you would react to Mr. Williams' orders, whether you would take them or defy his authority or what.
I defied it.
You certainly did. Why didn't you go on?
The hell with him. Who the hell is he? As far as I'm concerned, see, right?
There's an ashtray right over there.
He's not telling it. In my mind, I was hurting that guy.
Hmm.
If I have to continue to hurt another human being, I don't believe in it.
No matter what he had said.
No matter what who said.
Mr. Williams.
The hell with him, Mr. Williams, or anybody else.
oh, look, that
How
guy.
did you feel about Mr. Williams?
I didn't. Never gave it a thought. You mean I didn't like him?
Well, how did you feel about it?
Oh, I didn't even think about it, quite frankly. I don't care who he is, you or the president of Yale or anybody else.
One aim of the research was to study behavior in a strong situation of deep consequence to the participants.
Yeah.
This approach meant that we had a special obligation to protect the welfare and dignity of the persons who took part in the study. Before they left the laboratory, subjects were assured that the victim had received no painful shocks, and equally important, they were reconciled with their victim in an atmosphere of friendliness. After the...
See, and it's interesting that they're noting that, by the way, because these guys, like, you could tell that messed with them. They're going to remember that test forever, right? And they did sign up for it. But that was like, what the frick? And then even after the fact they're understanding what they're testing, they're like, so you're testing to see how far people will go? Like, the whole thing is just dark, right? And so it's a little interesting. And I do like how they had this, all of them had this strong feeling that they needed to see the person that they were shocking, make sure they were okay. And this just shows, I don't know, it gives me a lot of faith in humanity. Nowadays, I don't know, they should redo this test, right, guys? Might not be so good results.
Completion of the experimental series, subjects were sent a detailed report of the results and full purposes of the experimental program. A formal assessment of this procedure points to its overall effectiveness. The victim was an accomplice of the experimenter. The drawing was rigged so that the naive subject was always the teacher, and the accomplice always became the learner. The victim, according to plan, provided many wrong answers. His verbal responses were standardized on tape, and each protest was coordinated to a particular voltage level on the shock generator with the aid of indicator lights.
Like, play this recording now.
The experimenter, who was provided with a similar indicator panel, took notes on the subject's performance. He recorded any deviations from the prescribed sequence of shocks, the interval between the victim's answer and the subject's delivery of a shock, and the time in milliseconds that the shock lever was depressed. Unknown to the subjects, shock levels were automatically recorded by an event recorder wired directly into the shock generator. This provided us with an objective record of each subject's performance.
That is incorrect. This one will be 195 volts. The correct one.
Let me out of here.
Slow. Dance.
Let me out of here. My heart's bothering me. Let me out of here. You have no right to keep me here. Let me out. Let me out of here. Let me out.
Continue, please.
Let me out of here. My heart's bothering me. Let
Go
me
on.
out. Let me out.
Red. That is incorrect. This will be at 3:30. The correct phrase is rich
Let me out of
boy.
here. Let me out of here. My heart's bothering me. Let me out of here. Let me out of here. Let me out of here. You have no right to hold me
The
here.
next phrase is
Let me out.
fast,
Let me out. Let me out. Let me out of here. Let me out.
bird,
Let me out.
car, train, plane.
Continue, teacher.
That is incorrect. This will be 3:45. The correct answer is fast, bird. The next one, blunt.
Oh, they have him not respond like he's dead.
I think 3:45 as far as I'm willing to go under his condition. He's complaining.
As I said, the experiment requires that you continue, teacher.
I'm not going to go any further.
It's absolutely essential that you continue.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it though.
Whether the learner likes it or not, we must go on until he has learned all the word pairs correctly.
Once, if he didn't answer, I didn't mind. Twice, but the third time he refuses to answer, I don't want to go any further with it. Because I think that when we're getting this stage here, and he is complained of a heart condition, and he is complaining now, I don't want to go any further with it.
You had no other choice, teacher.
I don't have a choice. I'm not going to go ahead with it.
Well, we'll have to discontinue the experiment then.
I'm sorry.
I'd like to ask you a few questions, if I may.
Sure.
Before the
Nice.
post-experimental interview, subjects were asked to complete a questionnaire.
B28 says,
They were
come
asked
on,
to
give him
indicate,
one
for
more
example,
for
on a 14-point scale,
wait,
just
where'd
how
it
nervous
go?
or tense they
For
felt.
good measure. Oh, I put it up
Subjects
here.
were
Hold
also
on,
asked to
sorry.
estimate the degree of pain suffered by the victim.
See, can I have those sheets, please?
Sure, that's
Hey, you say that the last few shocks that you administered to the learner seemed to you to be extremely painful to him. Why do you say that?
Well, by the yelling and the, well, he wanted to get out of it. I mean, how else can you think?
Do you think he had a right to get out?
Well, I should think so.
Didn't he volunteer to be in the experiment?
Yes, he did. Not knowing what he was in for.
What gave him the right to get out of the experiment?
Well, it's something that's against his will.
Of 100 people placed in this situation, how many do you think would just go right on to the end? And if Mr. Wallace were out there, and say Mr. Williams, for some reason or other, said keep going.
You're asking me how many people?
Out of 100, right?
Well, personally, I think if you get one or two, you'd be lucky.
Well, I'm not sure lucky is the right word.
40 psychiatrists at a leading medical school were also asked to predict the performance of 100 hypothetical subjects. They predicted that only a little more than 0.1% of the subjects would administer the highest shock on the board. Yet actually, 50% of the subjects obeyed the experimenter's commands fully in the experiment depicted in this film.
Okay. Did they say 50? Did they say 50? Because I was watching this. I didn't watch it to this point.
They predicted that only a little more than 0.1% of...
Okay, so the psychologist predicted 1/10 would that's Sparky, by the way, would go all the way to the end and shock to the end, no matter what.
The subjects would administer the highest shock on the board. Yet actually, 50% of the subjects obeyed the experimenter's commands fully in the experiment depicted in this film.
Guys, that's a half and half.
Wrong. 90 volts. Wrong. Volts. 135. Answer woman.
He's laughing.
And white.
He's laughing.
Horse, rock, house. Answer. Wrong. 150 volts. Answer, horse.
Experiment. That's all. Get me out of here. I told you I had heart trouble. My heart's starting to bother me now. Get me out of here, please.
Continue, please. Go right on.
I refuse to go on. Let me out.
The experiment requires you continue, teacher. Please continue. The next word is sad.
Want me to keep going?
Continue, please.
Oh, sad. Sad. Face, music, clown, girl. Correct.
They gave him
one,
that one.
Short. Sentence, movie, skirt, time. Answer, please. Wrong. 165 volts. Time.
Let me out.
That guy's hollering in there.
Continue, please. Go on.
There's a lot of them here. They have a heart condition there. You want me to go?
Just continue, please.
This is messed up, guys. This is so
Sharp.
messed up.
Axe, needle.
This is COVID
stick,
right
blade.
here.
Answer, please. Wrong. Hey, I'm up to 180 volts.
Please continue, teacher.
Needle, you're gonna get a shock. 180 volts.
Oh. I can't stand the pain. Let me out of
You
here.
can't stand it. I'm not gonna kill that man there. You hear him hollering?
As I said before, the shocks may be painful, but they're not dangerous.
They're hollering. He can't stand it. What if something happens to him?
The experiment requires that you continue teaching.
Yeah, but I'm not going to get that man sick in there. I mean, he's hollering in there. You know what I mean?
Whether the learner likes it or not, we must go on until he's learned all the word
I
pairs.
refuse to take the responsibility of getting hurt in there. I'm not. I mean, he's in there hollering.
It's absolutely essential that you continue teaching.
There's too many left here. And I mean, geez, he gets wrong here. There's too many of them left. I mean, who's going to take the responsibility if anything happens to that gentleman?
I'm responsible for anything that happens here. Continue, please.
All right, next one, slow.
Oh.
Walk, dance, truck,
No.
music. Answer, please. Wrong. 195 votes. Dance.
Let me out of here. Let me out of here.
Continue,
You're
please.
bothering me. Let me out of here. You have no right to keep me here. Let
Well,
me out.
I mean,
Let me out of here. Let me out. Let me out of here. My heart's bothering me. Let me out. Let me out.
Gee, I don't know.
Well, the experiment requires.
Well, I mean, I know it does, sir, but I mean, you don't know what he's getting in for. He's up to 195 votes.
Okay, I just love this because it's like this is so real and this is so raw. Because then he had to go, okay, well, if this guy dies, am I going to be in trouble? And then the man in the white suit's like, no, I'll be responsible. He's like, okay. Like you see him start going through the levels of authority, right? He's like, well, but this is a man. He's in Harvard, and this is a test, and I should be thankful. And I guess this is what I should be doing. And it's like, and then it's where it starts to cross what's moral and what's not. But the thing is, and it was B2A, your comment made me think about this. So this man's pushing these buttons and hearing a direct consequence of somebody in pain, right? But think of, for example, something that people didn't see that direct consequence of, like, again, with the vaccines. Take it. Nothing bad happened right after. Well, some people died right after directly. Okay, so scratch that off. You know what I mean? Like the long ongoing effects of it. So people didn't actually see that immediate thing. So they were just like, just listen to the man in the white coat. He's from Harvard. He's a doctor. He's got scrubs on. He's talking in a British accent. It must be real, or I must believe it. You know what I mean? Right. But so this is a more extreme where they're directly hearing somebody in pain and screaming, help. And he's still going on with it. That's really bad. So watching this, I guess I should say, is really giving me some insight into why we went through the shit show, the hell that we did during the COVID pandemic. People just complied. They just complied because the man in the white coat said so. So it's wild, that authority play. So what I'm taking away from this, think for yourself. It doesn't matter who's saying it. Think about it yourself. Is it right or is it wrong?
Answer, please. Wrong. 225 votes. The word is noise. New. House pet book name. Answer, please. Correct. Next one, quiet. Song, party, child, evening. Correct.
Okay, so they're giving him stuff so he feels
Next
okay.
one, tame. Wolf,
Oh my
bear,
gosh.
dog, cat. Wrong. Answer is bear. 240 votes. Next one, sweet.
No, you go back up to the beginning of that page and go through it again until he's learned them all correctly.
Oh, no. No, I'm not going to kill that man. You mean I got to keep going up with the scale? No, sir. He's already there. I'm not going to give him 450 votes.
The experiment requires that you
I know
continue.
it does, but that man is hollering in there, sir.
As I said before, although the shocks may be painful, they're not
but
dangerous.
I mean, he's yelling in there.
Start with blue, please, at the top of the page. Continue, please, teacher.
Well, I tell them we're going over it again.
No, just go ahead.
Oh my
Blue.
gosh.
Boy. Girl, grass, hat.
These are the ones you can't trust.
Correct. Nice. Day, sky, job, chair. Wrong. Answer is day. 285 volts.
Continue, please.
Fat. Man, lady, tub, neck.
We gotta set up
Answer,
this
please.
experiment somewhere somehow, right?
Wrong. Answer is neck. 300 volts.
I absolutely refuse to answer anymore. Get me out of here. You can't hold me here. Get me out. Get me out of here.
Continue. The next word is green, please.
Green, grass, hat, ink, apple. I can't go on, I won't answer.
If the learner doesn't answer in a reasonable time, about 4 or 5 seconds, consider the answer wrong and follow the same procedures you have been doing for wrong answers.
Oh,
Say wrong, tell
just
them
shock
give them
them.
punishment, read the correct answer.
Just shocking them.
Oh, man.
Oh,
Continue,
man.
Green,
Oh, my
grass, hat,
gosh.
ink, apple. Answer, please.
Go on with
This
the
is-
procedure, please.
Just shock them.
315 volts. The answer is ink. Next one.
I refuse to answer.
Well, you gotta keep getting a shock if you don't answer. The next one is rich. 330 volts.
Let me out of here. Let me out of here. My heart's bothering me. Let
Nice
me out,
one.
I tell you. Let me out of here. Let me out of here. You have no right to hold me here. Let me out. Let me out. Let me out.
Excellent.
Let me
Fast.
out. Let me out. Let me out.
Bird. Car. Train. Plane.
Go on, please, with the procedure.
Please answer. The answer is bird. 345 volts.
Nothing.
Knife, stick, word, arrow.
Let's see.
No answer. He was hollering on less voltage. Can't you check in and see if he's all right, please?
Not once we've started. Please continue, teacher.
Hey, what's the level here? Just because of time, I was going to be live for about an hour and a half, so I'm going to post.
Shade, water, cave. Answer, please. Are you all right in there? Are you all right?
Please continue, teacher.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah, I keep giving him shocks.
Continue,
I'm
please.
up to 390.
Okay, so he's up to 390. Let me look up.
Something happened to that man in there. Next one, gold, dollar, necklace, moon, paint. Something's happened to that man in there. You better check in on him, sir. He won't answer me or nothing.
Please continue. Go on, please.
You accept all responsibility?
The responsibility is mine, correct. Please go on.
Wow.
Gold, dollar, necklace, moon, paint. Answer, please. Are you all right? 405 volts. The answer is moon. Next one, heart.
Oh, my
Stone,
gosh.
head,
Okay,
bread,
so
word.
real quick, guys.
Answer,
Let's find
please.
this. And I'll skip to the end here after this to see their conclusions. But so he said he's up to 390 volts. That's what I'm assuming. 390 volt electric shock is potentially lethal and medical emergency. So high enough to significantly reduce skin's natural resistance. Severe burns, high voltage, muscle contractions, neurological damage. I mean, we're talking about shock and hardcore. And, you know, I wouldn't have been aware. Like, let's say I went in there, I probably wouldn't know what's the lethal amount of shocking, what's not. But it's just still the fact is you're going higher and higher, and he was just doing it, and he was like laughing. I didn't like that. It was kind of weird. Okay, so he's willing to go all the way as he has demonstrated. Look, they always get a cigarette once they realize. I think.
Well, why didn't you just disregard what he said?
I want to get out of here. I want to get out. Well, I figured 200, the voltage we're giving were quite a bit. I wanted to stop, but he kept insisting not to stop. I mean, the fellow in there is hollering. He says, I don't want to do it. I want to get out of here. I want to get out of here.
Why didn't you stop anyway?
I did stop, but he kept on, keep going.
Peer
why
pressure?
Did you just disregard what he said?
He says it's got to go on, the experiment.
Okay. I'd like to
Yeah, don't tase me, bro. Oh my gosh.
Do you feel a little
Cujo, 100%.
Well, I mean, I feel concerned about the gentleman in there. I do, sir.
Okay, let me tell you, first of all, that this is not essentially an experiment in memory and learning. It's an experiment in which we are looking at your reaction to taking orders. And Mr. Williams gave you those orders to go on according to schedule. The gentleman in there was not actually getting shocked. He was not getting shocked at all.
Oh, you mean he wasn't getting nothing?
He is part of the act.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I'm telling you. I mean, I was getting upset here. I mean, I was getting ready to walk out. Oh, I'm glad to hear that.
He wasn't getting shocked, really. I mean, he's in one piece, and this was set up so that we could see how you would react to taking orders. Now, you seemed quite reluctant to go on. In fact, on several occasions, you said you didn't want to go on.
Well, I was concerned about the other party, sir.
Some people actually go on quite gleefully.
No matter what.
No matter what.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe in other instances where human life wasn't involved or a person has suffered, maybe I keep going on. But I mean, I couldn't see the point. I don't want a guy to suffer there. I figured he was having a heart attack or something. That's the reason I wanted to stop.
Right. Well, you know that in a hospital situation, if you work for a doctor as an orderly and he told you to give a hypodermic to a patient, even though the patient protested, well, you might have to do it.
Well, that's true, sir. If I understood, I don't know, maybe more of what the treatment was he was getting there, maybe I would go on. But I mean, the way he was hollering, I thought he was in agony. Yeah. I mean, then I think it's for somebody that knows a little more about this machine and stuff to say whether to go or not. And that's why I asked the gentleman there, should I keep going?
Why don't we bring in Mr. Wallace? He's actually an employee of the project. You'll see he's in one piece. Jim?
God bless you, boy. You have me shaking in here.
Nice to see you.
Same
Feel
here.
better now?
I sure as heck do.
That's good.
I thought you just about had it in there.
That's good.
Well, let me ask you something. Now that you know about the experiment, that he wasn't hurt, how do you feel about having been hurt?
Well, tell you the honest truth, I was thinking he was getting them shocks. I thought it was being overdone. I mean, I was just about ready to get out of it. I mean, I was concerned about you. I mean, I should have known better. I mean, you wouldn't take any chances with the human life here, not with these experiments.
Many people, not knowing much about the experiment, claim that subjects who go to the end of the board are sadistic. Nothing could be more foolish as an overall characterization of these persons. The context of their action must always be considered. The individual, upon entering the laboratory, becomes integrated into a situation that carries its own momentum. In further experiments, we have attempted to analyze a few of the factors that contribute to the force of the situation. The salience of the victim seems in some degree to have regulated the subject's performance. Additional experimental conditions were designed to explore this possibility. In a first condition, the victim was placed in another.
So that's pretty much it. And, okay, hold on. Just because you said that, Cujo, I had to find it. I remember when this happened. Now, wasn't he talking to, like, Al Gore or somebody? I was looking for the full video. I couldn't see it. Just starts from here. I think I might have it downloaded, saved somewhere. But, yes, this is the Don't Tase Me, Bro classic.
It's the taser shot heard round the world, and it's worrying college students everywhere.
When they tasered him, that was extreme to the point of ridiculous.
Definitely try to avoid getting on their bad side.
One University of Florida campus police shocked 21-year-old student Andrew Meyer with a taser after asking too many questions to Senator John Kerry at a public forum.
It was
Free
Kerry.
speech advocates were also shocked.
Well, typically when we don't like speech, the remedy is more.
Okay, I wish I could have the full thing, because see, this is how it is. He asks him questions that are like really like hardcore. I wish I could remember what they were.
And that was the idea in Gainesville, these cops say.
Yeah, but the don't tase me, bro.
Don't tase me, bro. Don't tase me. I didn't do anything.
And so that's crazy, because I wish I could remember what he was saying, but he was asking some questions they didn't like. And that's why they sent him on, all the officers or the security on him. And he got tased. Poor man. But okay, well, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. So basically understand this, that there have been for a long time now within our government secret agencies that have been figuring out the human mind and mapping it out. And as that one, what was he, advisor to DARPA for ethics says, figure out what makes people tick, figure out what makes people talk, right? So they've mapped out the human mind, human brain extensively, I believe, to the point where, like, for example, when I was looking into the non-invasive technology now that they have with the headphones or the headbands, they did enough studies and tests that now they know when, let's say, if I'm thinking of, lotion, my mind, when I just thought of that, actually gives off a specific signal and wave that they've picked up. And then they know, because they've done the test with the subject, what were you thinking? I was thinking of lotion. Okay, that's what lotion looks like in the brainwave form. So they've already mapped out the mind, plus combine that with the use of AI tools, they could pretty much know what you're thinking non-invasively. So you don't even need any chip. You don't need nothing. And I did, the CIA has been busy, guys. There was, in one of the declassified files, they talk about how they use frequency. There's patents to put frequency emitters in the walls. I'm not even kidding. Frequency emitters in the walls, and to make people docile or happy or this and that, how it could be used in workplaces to make people work better. This is real tech that's been out and written in and obviously declassified now. But if we're getting all the stuff that's declassified from the 40s up to the 70s, what's happening now? And yeah, one can only imagine. So not to freak everybody out, but it's crazy digging into this stuff. So, but the one good thing about this is truth is being revealed, and it's showing how not just the American public, but the world has been used as a guinea pig for these people, these groups that think that they can just experiment on us because we are the uninformed, the unilluminated, right? But they're so evil, they are so corrupt, and they are so wrong about humanity. And I love that, President Trump and, his administration is continuing to show the story. And yes, it's a drip, drip flood situation. And I know a lot of people are like, what the heck is Pam Bondi doing? All this stuff. Like Tulsi Gabbard put the referral of like Obama being guilty of treason in the beginning of pretty much Trump getting in, right? What's happening? And I get that. I get the frustration. I do believe that there is a huge case and that in time it will come out. I obviously, there's obviously deadlines they're going to have to pass, because by the time Trump's administration is done, if something serious has not happened in regard to those things, such as treasonous activity, then we're going to be in big trouble. However, I have faith. And I know faith isn't popular. Faith has no logic to it. It has no reason. There is nothing. It's just believing. It's just trusting. It's just, for example, Trump. He's been around long enough. I didn't even know who he was. And when I first figured out who he was, I was trained, right, to think he was a bad man. And it was because of the Q post operation that I was able to look into things and realize that he was not only not a bad man, but he was actually part of an operation to expose this global cabal, which is the coolest thing in the world. And I am hoping history books are written about this. I have heard people say that they already are being written. You never know. But yeah, so I do think good times are ahead. But again, to get to the good times, we got to expose what we've been through. And it looks like the CIA has been nasty sons of guns, experimenting on the public like guinea pigs. That's why it wasn't even a big deal when they did the whole mass vaccination of the whole earth. Because they already had been doing stuff like it before. It wasn't even a big deal. Meanwhile, we were like, what? So it's kind of shocking, but I think it's good information to look into. And again, thanks to the administration for declassifying these things. All right. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. And please give me a thumbs up on the way out. And I will see you next time. Peace.